Hey, what's up, stream keepers, and welcome back to my channel. And thanks for the encouragement so far. And in this episode, I really want to take this opportunity to actually share with you guys on a topic that has been ongoing for quite some time. And I would like to really collect this all these thoughts and then share it with you guys. Um, so in today's topic, I would like to talk about is how do we actually increase the chances of stream survival. So I actually put it into very broad categories. One of the category is what actually harms the stream, and another is how do we improve the stream rate of survival. So the first and the second one is actually the same. I mean, what does it mean? Why do I have to categorize that in such a way? Right? So the whole idea over here is that number one, people kill more streams than Planaria will ever do, right? In your stream thing. So while people are talking about I understand Planaria has is an omnivore or a carnivore. They actually attack streams that are weakened, and then they consume them because they are actually like uh, scavengers as well. So one of the things is that not only just Planarias, and it's also people that have they are too anxious in the cycling process, and then they start to put streams in when before the cycle is done. When the ammonia is still high, they put the streams in. So all in all, in that category, people can say your water parameters are not right. You have Planaria, you are not using the right product. So all of this is related to about it really boils down to people, right? So people actually, to me, is that people actually kills more streams than Planaria will ever do, or uh, you know, your water change or your water parameters are not right. So all these are human related, right? So the broad category is that as long as instead of blaming on Planaria, blaming on water parameters, I think we really need to take a deep dive into what really constitute the stream survival. So if everything boils down, the real root cause is actually not the water parameters. The real root cause, that is a problem, that is a challenge, that is something that we have identified. However, uh, all this is also decided by the person that actually keeps it. So if we really want to go really deep down and think about what are some of the things that actually can increase the survival rate of the stream, it's really to to first unlearn what you have learned, and then relearn them, and then you apply those new knowledge onto your stream tanks. I think the stream hobby is it should be a journey. It should be a, a journey where you can actually fail, and then as you fail, then you start to learn more, and then you start to progress on. So I think another part of this is that as people fail in this hobby, then there will be a lot of people coming in and say that you should use this, you should use that, you should try this, you should try that. It becomes counterintuitive because it confuses the person a lot more, right? So instead of dishing out advices and telling them you should do this, do this, do this, what is my own take on this is that I would recommend to share how I do my setup. Whether they want to follow my setup or not, that is entirely a different thing. But the reasons why I do what I do, so I think that is critical. That is very important. So if the person say that okay, my water parameters are not right, then so what are some of the things involved? And if let's say you are very keen in learning, and then the person is also very keen in sharing, then of course you can then start to continue to develop and stuff like that. However, uh, if you meet a good mentor, so finding the right mentor to actually guide you through the stream hobby, I think that is also very important. Because when somebody like a new breeder that wants to come into the hobby, and they will definitely look to somebody to actually to learn that hobby, and I think as a seller, if you're going to learn from a seller, the seller will have to actually be responsible in guiding the entire end-to-end process. And of course, if there's any hiccups along the way, I think they should have the knowledge behind why they do what they do. Like for example, instead of telling them, you should be using this product, but why? I think the why is very important in this stream hobby. And many a times the knowledge of the hobby is is not leveled, so everybody should have that knowledge, and I think the seller should actually share with them the knowledge. And of course, knowledge, you can actually see that there is a not just one way of actually keeping streams or breeding streams. There's a lot of ways to actually keep them well, right? So there's no one right way. However, I think we will need to also adopt the the process of the seller in that sense, so that they will be able to actually pinpoint on what are some of the things that could have gone wrong. Because if let's say he's using a certain soil and you are using a certain soil, and you are using a different remineralizer and he's using a different one, so all in all it becomes more and more difficult to actually pinpoint where some of the issues. However, there is quite similar, or streams can actually live in quite a wide range of water parameters, so they are actually quite flexible in that sense. So I think at the end of the day, we will really need to learn the whole end-to-end process to ensure that that if there's things that goes wrong, we should go back to the seller. However, one point to note is, what is interesting is that based on my experience, is that when I started this hobby as well, I do have a good range of background information or background knowledge regarding fish keeping and fish breeding. However, when I started stepping into this stream hobby, I was also, I wouldn't say that I'm a victim, but I would say that it cost me a lot of tuition fees in terms of my learning, because the seller was not actually up to speed or up to date in terms of his knowledge, and he based it out of his own limited knowledge to actually sell that to me. So it becomes there's a gap, because when I started learning a lot more and I started leveling up my own knowledge and my own background information and my my all these learnings, and then I realized that uh, it is actually not an excuse for a seller for not knowing uh, something, right? And because when we buy something from a person, we don't buy the product itself, we actually buy the trust that he or she actually provide. So once we started learning about all this background information, and then we learn that it doesn't really jive in terms of the data that we get, then it throws out a lot of question marks. And if the seller is unable to actually respond to the questions, then it becomes quite difficult in that sense. Because I think one of the reasons is that if you are able to go into this hobby with a good mentor that actually guides you through it, then you will actually see results over the years, and then you will be able to really enjoy the hobby very well. So just an example, that I've been mentoring some of the breeders worldwide, and I have guide them through the selective breeding process, and they have shown me streams and how to actually do it. And then once I share that knowledge and that process to them, and they adopt it and they try it themselves, and then when they see results over 2 or 3 generations of streamlets, then they realize that yes, this is something that I have learned, and then I can apply them. So I think with that kind of knowledge, they will be able to appreciate the hobby a lot more, versus if you buy this from me, then you'll be able to learn this. So I think that's entirely a totally different thing. And I think information should be shared, personally should be shared uh, uh, to everybody, and all this information should be widely available for everybody, but pertaining, of course, the way how I do it and why I do it. I think that is the differentiation part of things. So that's actually the first category of why this, how do we actually improve the stream survival. That is actually people, right? So if you are able to choose a good mentor, you are able to have that knowledge level, then you will be able to enjoy this hobby a lot more. So the second part of it is also people. So why do I say that? So I think this is a very controversial video, or a very controversial topic to discuss about, and one of this is because the stream hobby has always been segregated across many different countries, and of course segregated among themselves. There are many groups, and then people start to ask questions like, why do we have so many groups? Is there a difference between different, why do we have it? I think one of the biggest reason for that is there is no one right way of stream breeding or stream keeping. And when two schools of thought, or even three or four schools of thought, start to come together, they don't gel very well together. They don't combine into a big holistic community. However, then they started to have these different fragmented groups, and then that is where things start to happen, right? So one will say to the other, and things like that. So I think this is if both sides are not very, I would say, how should I put it, if one of the side, like for example, started bad mouthing the other side, then I think that's going across the line. So normally what I've been taught also, to never push down somebody just because I want to look better. So I would never ever comment on somebody's stream and say that that stream is not good, and it's not nice. So I think instead of saying other people's streams are not nice or not good, I think what we should portray, in my opinion, is that we should portray, okay, why is this stream good? Your own stream, right? You talk about your own stream instead of talking about other people's stream. You talk about your own stream, how you should be able to improve, how you should be able to make it better, how you should grade them, and then in future, how are you going to select them for breeding. So instead of focusing on the negative, like telling them that, or push people down, saying that, oh no, that stream is not nice, it's not good, there's problem, there's a short, the thin shell issue, or the legs are not complete, unless the person is somebody that and he is very willing to say that, okay, this is my stream, I want you to help me grade it so that I can improve further. So I think from that perspective, then yes, okay, so he wants to actually learn about his own stream, how do we actually improve. So I have some breeders that come to me and then tell me and ask me, hey Ben, can you share with me some of these selective breeding tips? How are we going to, on the next step, what kind of streamlets or what kind of streams should I start to select, and what are some of the things that we can actually do. So I think that one is fine, but however, I have seen many cases whereby a picture is posted to somebody, and then just because that person wants to sell his stream, he will then say that the other guy's stream is not nice, and it's not good. However, this is not something that personally we do from our side. So because one of the things is that we don't I think one of the things is that we don't try to push other people down, in that sense. So that's why I'm saying that people has caused quite a lot of it's always people that causes that issue, regardless water parameters, whether it's a planaria, or whether it's all these things that actually create that issue for the aquarium, or it's people that actually start to badmouth each other on things like that. So I think all in all, it's all about people, and then trying to find like-minded people to discuss a lot more on the hobby itself is getting more and more difficult, because streams do breed, and then when they breed, people want to sell them quickly, and when they start to sell them, if they have the knowledge, if they have the information, and they are very willing to actually share to the customer or to the end breeder, I think that's perfectly fine. But what I think is what can be improved is that, you know, instead of dumping your cows into somebody else's tank, I think, or you know, trying to hard sell your stream or your streams that you don't want to others, I think that is something that we should be careful about, because I think many of the breeders that I have spoken to, they are also quite uh, conscious about what is actually happening. You know, for example, people will know that there will be a lot of cows out from, for example, a selected breeding project, you know, and or you know, they want to push down other people by saying the other person's stream is not nice. So all in all, it's really about, you know, people and how people actually treat each other in that sense. So my tip on this is actually very simple, and I would like to hear your comments as well. If you are listening to this and you have been through this entire thing, you know, you can actually share in the comments below how would you actually approach this in terms of uh, you know, managing people, or something like that. So from based on my experience is that uh, we try to get all those like-minded people around. We surround them with positive energy, and then for those who are, you know, trying to pull you down or push you down or blow out your own candle, blow out your candle, just to make them look brighter, I think one of the things is that ignore the naysayers. I think that's, and one of the rules of engagement, one of the four rules that I've discussed in the video, and one of them is actually ignore the naysayers. So I think uh, everybody should get that information. So when they get the information and when they see the outcome of what they have actually applied to, then from there, you know, they will start to learn and enjoy the hobby a lot more. So this is slightly a more digressing a video, a more digressing topic, but I think it's very important. It's because I've seen many people come in and then they left the hobby, not because the streams are not good, not because of other things, but because of people who 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 really cheated on them, or you know, they trust the seller so much, they get scammed from the seller, because they say, you know, you should try this, you should try this and try this, and then at the end of the day, boom, you know, their streams don't survive. They don't even know what is the reason behind why they should do this and why they should do that. So I think at the end of the day, every single thing that is being, you know, established in the tank has a reason behind it, and if that we can actually uh, share the information with them and tell them the why that should be done. So I think then it will give the, you know, the person who is actually breeding the streams a lot more background knowledge, background information to make some informed decision. So I think everybody likes to, you know, have all the information at hand so that they can actually make good decisions as they move forward. And I'm not trying to say that, you know, it's the seller's fault or it's the buyer's fault, you know. So all of this is, you know, is really market economics, willing seller, willing buyer. So if the person is willing to buy, but over time, you know, this methodology will not be able to sustain for a long time, and that customer will eventually move to somebody else. And if let's say there's, and if he continues to get, you know, get so-called scam, and then in the end he will probably will then just leave the hobby like that. And I think it's such a waste, because people come into this hobby with high hopes, high passion, high drive, just to breed streams, just to enjoy the hobby. However, people start to capitalize and start to monetize that you know, uh, that thing, and that created a lot of I guess fragmented ways of doing things. So you know, I think one of the things that I would like to recap on this video is, number one, you find a good mentor that can really teach you, can really guide you through over the course of a few years, you know, enjoying the hobby together, talking about streams, talking about, you know, about about how you can actually get better streams in that sense. And because at the end of the day, this is still a stream hobby, right? And we really want to actually you know connect in that level, talking about streams, talking about your life, connecting as a family, connecting as a as a friend, instead of just you have to buy this, and then if you buy this you have to use this, if you use this then so at the end of the day it's not so much a commercial transaction, because anyway this is really a hobby. And so it is important that you get the right information to make the best decision that you can actually have. and and as sellers, if let's say you're gonna get a stream, and if the seller say you should hold back and not get the streams now until your tanks are ready, or you are actually trying to guide the person uh, to get the tank ready before the streams enter into the tank. I think that's also a very critical part. But I know that there's a lot of sellers out there that says that you should just use a shortened cycle, or whatever, a 1 week, a 10-day cycle, 2 days or whatever it is, and then you start to put your streams in there. That's defying the science behind it. And while it may look okay, your streams may survive in that sense, uh, however in the long term, when the streams are actually injured in that sense, you wouldn't be able to actually know that. And I think uh, as we start to progress along, as we start to have more and more experience, we can actually see a lot of these kind of things surface. And it is a pity sometimes to actually to see that people leave the hobby not because of things, or or they couldn't progress on the hobby, and they have lost a lot of money in that case. So I think that is also why one of the reasons why Stream Sensory actually existed, is because we wanted to actually educate the stream hobby as much as we can, as best as we can. Of course, we will not be able to reach out to everybody in the world. However, if you believe in the path, in the methodology of stream sensory, trying to get all this information to actually share with the and your friends, then I think you can actually help to also promote that process, so that people can actually start to get more and more interested in keeping streams, without having to feel that hey, am I making the right decision? Am I going to buy this and then at the end of the day I get scammed again? So I think that's the fear level, the worry behind that. And it takes time to build up. And it is actually a very interesting hobby. So like I say again, choose a good mentor that can really guide you through the entire end-to-end process of stream breeding. And then in a matter of a couple of years, you'll be very very experienced in breeding streams. You will be able to actually take that, and then of course if you are able to actually share that with the next person that is actually trying to breed streams as well. So I think if this continue on, then the entire community will then benefit, rather than having people scam to each other and then trying to pull a fast one out. So I think that is the most important thing in the entire stream hobby, not to hold back any information. Just share as much as you can based on your experience. And of course you have to do your test behind it. You can do 2-3 years, make sure they are on high grade streams. If they are on normal streams, then I think it doesn't really tell a lot of story behind it. And one of the reasons is because when I do tests, you have to be on high grade stream, because if the high grade streams are able to take whatever it is that you're actually trying, then the lower grade streams, which are usually hardier, they will be able to take it as well. So if you're going to use it on the other way, then if let's say somebody tries on high grade stream and something happened, I think that's something that is also quite difficult to actually explain as well. um, so so I think that's all for this video. I don't want to make it too long. I just wanted to share with you guys that this is a stream hobby. At the end of the day, it is still people. It is still where you need to get all this information. You want to connect with others who are like-minded, and try not and be wary of who you actually get the information from, and who you actually trust in terms of where you're gonna buy your next stream. So I think that is critical. So enjoy your stream hobby, and thank you very much for watching. So if you like this video, give a thumbs up and remember to comment on the section below, because I really want to hear you guys in terms of what are some of the things that you have experienced, and in terms of this stream hobby, and what make you keep continuing on, and what make you, if you are still watching this video, what keeps you uh, on continue on this hobby. So thanks a lot, and peace out.